So welcome back to the channel, and in this episode we are going to be looking at this beautiful kit from Border. Let's get into it. So thanks for coming back, and in this episode we're going to be looking at this particular beauty. It's the 135th from Border Models Kate, or as its real name is the Nakajima B5N2 Type 97 Carrier Attack Bomber. Let's go with Kate. This kit came with the kit that I purchased, which was the khaki carrier deck in 135th with this plane. Hence why there's no box, and we're straight into this. But let's not hang around. This is there's an awful lot of plastic strewn around the ops room to go through. So this is the instructions, typical Border models. As you can see, a little bit of history here to do with the plane itself, Japanese and in English. Some quite interesting information there. And then obviously we're straight into our sprues and a bit of PE and decals, etc. So that's nicely mapped out for us. Now, before I move on to the detail of the instructions, all the sprues are separately bagged, which is fantastic to see. So well done, Borders. Bar, I think there was 2 sprues that are exactly the same sprue that popped in together, but that's fine. But yeah, well done you. And there's an awful lot of plastic in that kit. So straight into the instructions, and we're straight into the beautiful, wonderful, detailed engine that we're going to make up here. A radio engine, obviously. It's got some cowl in there that you can glue it all together to make it as whole, or you can leave a few panels off, etc., and show some of that beautifulness away. Then from there we're straight into the cockpit. Now obviously this is a bomber, so there is multiple people in the cockpit. Very, very highly detailed. So we're talking about here is the pilot itself. Internal detail is very, very far and wide. Then we're talking to the cockpit base, and then of course we've got our aimer at the back here as well. So this makes up the detailed cockpit pod, if you like. 3 people in this aircraft. You've got the pilot, the bomber, and your defender, if you like, with the guns on the back. Watch out for the asking for you to make drill holes, etc. So again, like always, please go through the instructions at the beginning. Make sure you know exactly what you're doing and how you're going to progress. Small amount of PE in this particular kit, and obviously we've got some going straight in there to our cockpit pod. Then we're into our wings, putting the flaps on, etc. Now we've got some nice internal structural bits here that you can put on. That keeps it nice and lively, and obviously we're now concentrating on this a little bit more. It's nice to see the fact that you know, you haven't got one on the end, you've got multiple ones in your wing, so the detail really pops, makes it look a lot better, in my humble opinion, of course. There we go. And we're carrying on with the wings, obviously. And the cockpit's now been put into the fuselage. The fuselage is going to be married together, and that's going to go onto the base of our aircraft. Now, as you can see, you do have the ability to have your wings up or in the flight position, up to you. Hence why you've got that detail there, to make that pop when its wings are folded. So there we go. We're just putting our top piece on here. Now, one of the wonderful things I like about Border models and what they've done with this particular kit is that instead of having a seam line down the back of the aircraft there, what they've done is they cut away a slice, if you like, at the top, which then goes in once you've married everything up. Not come across that before as such. So really looking forward to see how that goes together, but I'm told it goes together absolutely beautifully. So that's really good to see. And then obviously once it's all married together, you can put your engine on the aircraft itself and your spinner. and the last bits and pieces for underneath. And then you're onto your weapons, and boy, is there some weapons on there. So you've got your torpedoes. Interested to see that. It's obviously a torpedo bomber as well as a normal bomber. So you've got the option here of having your torpedo or your bomb, depending on which one you're going to go for. And then obviously you've got your wheels up in this particular scenario, or your wheels down. And then you can put on your all your clear clear plastic, etc. And then you're into your paint schemes. Again, with Border, they've teamed up with Ammo MiG, and you've got a full shout out of exactly how to paint your aircraft in the different schemes, ranging from the early part right through to the end as well. So if I remember correctly, you have Pearl Harbour and Midway, I think, off the top of my head. I think this is Pearl Harbour and this is Midway, as I remember, but I might be wrong. Answers in the comments downstairs. Bottom of the video. So there you go. So that is the instructions. Border models, fantastic as always. You've got loads of parts involved in this. So it's going to be a very nice build indeed. So talking of which, let's have a look at those parts. So let's jump straight in there with this is sprue A, and obviously you can see this is the underneath of the aircraft, as well as the top part here of our wings. Now, I'm hoping, really am hoping you can pick that out. The distressed look on the panels is absolutely amazing. So the detail is going to be sublime, as you can see. Very subtle in its form, but it's distinct in the fact it jumps out at you. So when you come to weathering, all that sort of stuff, you can really pick that sort of stuff out. Gonna look amazing. Your rivet detail is raised rivets, as well as non-raised rivets, and panel lines, all that sort of stuff. It's a dream. Really is a dream. Really well done. Bit of kit. Turn it over, and as you can see, we've got our areas here where we're going to put in our beams, cross beams for the wings, so that when we have our folded wings, we can look and see the detail in there. I've not done a lot of research on this at all, but I'm aware that you can add some detail in amongst all this sort of stuff, piping and all that sort of stuff, I'm told, but I haven't looked at it yet, but I am going to try and look at it to see if there's anything else I want to add. But as always with Border, they pretty much covered all the bases. So there you go, that's sprue A. On to sprue B, and we're looking at the main fuselage and our rear wings and all that, all sort of lovely stuff. So like I was saying earlier, this bit here, this little fillet here goes underneath, and it hides some of those joints really well. Again, you can see here with the detail that they've got, the sunken, worn look on your elevators and different bits and pieces. So you know it's an aircraft that's been well loved and well used, or just well used. So yeah, nothing really to report on the other side detail wise, but all the detail is singing for you just there. So what more do you need? Sprue C, and we're still on the wings, and as you can see, these are the little bits, the cross beams that you put in. Great to see, really is great to see. Now I did see, and if I can find the picture, it will be on this video, but I did see someone that had done one of these and taken one of the wings apart where it had been very badly damaged, and these cross beams, etc., they continued them through the wing. Yeah, so it gives you a really good idea of what the wing, the internal parts of the wings look like. If you want to give that a go, it's really worth the effort. Just a phenomenal, interesting build. And again, on the other side, nothing really much there to report. But this detail on the wings, etc., is just sublime. I could just bang on about it all day. Obviously got the spinner there, that's looking pretty good. Nicely detailed for what that is. And that was sprue C. So sprue D, now we're talking about detail. So as I was saying earlier, this is the fillet that you put on top of the fuselage to take away that seam line that you normally get down the spine of your aircraft, which gives you ghost seams and all that sort of stuff, and drives people insane. So that is a really cool addition, especially in an aircraft that's this scale. And then we're talking about detail. So we're looking at the cockpit here in, this is the dial section, all open dials, really well presented. You've got some screw heads, etc. on there as well. And then our framing for the internals of our cockpit has got some of our equipment on there, some wiring and all that sort of stuff. Again, I'm not completely au fait with this particular aircraft, so I can't tell you whether there's more additional wiring you could add in. I'm sure there is to a point, but they've taken care of the main stuff for you right here. The floor there, obviously, of our cockpit is nicely detailed, and it's just screaming detail all the way through. And again, reversed on the reverse side, you're not going to see anything on this side anyway, so you're not going to need anything further. But you've got your additional spots here where you're going to add stuff into the detail. So it's a building itself, let's be honest. That was sprue D. So this is sprue E. Sometimes I refer to these things as the main course because it's the engine detail. And again, Border have not let you down here. The engine detail is phenomenal. Your cylinder pods are incredibly well detailed when they go together, etc. Now, this is unlike the Zero. There is the potential here to add some wiring and bits and pieces to your engine. Obviously, you've got some of the stuff here, exhaust, etc. And your main wiring loom, I think that is off the top of my head. But you can add to it. Lots of bits and pieces here to go onto the engine as well. So the engine is another building itself, and the detail of our cowling is lovely. Raised rivets, just really well engineered and thought about. So one thing I would say with the engine detail on both the kits, the Zero and the Kate, it's a shame to hide all this detail, but you know, if that's not your bag, it's not what you want to do, don't worry too much about it. But if it is something you really like to do, you can really go to town, do your research, and get this all beautiful. I think, if I'm honest, I think I probably will to at least one of the engines. And knowing me, there's every chance that if I've done one, I'll probably do the second. But this will be the Kate in my diorama, which will be getting ready to go to battle. Whereas the Zero, I think, is not going to be ready for battle. I think that's going to be needing repairs or something. Want to make a difference between a different statement between two aircraft. But again, great detail from Border, so well done, Border. And this is sprue E. Now, I did warn you, there's a lot of sprues. This is sprue F, and this is our wheels, obviously, and our landing gear, etc. Here, lots of detail to be put together all here. A rest hook, etc. Just phenomenal amount of stuff here, and detailed is just sublime. No matter what you touch, what you look at, it's sublime. And again, we've got all sorts of bits and bobs in here that I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to even pretend to know what they are, because I've not studied it carefully enough to be able to give you that. But you can tell just a little bit either a hair or just a hair's bit of plastic there on the sprue, but no flash or anything. It's, you know, it's clean as you can make it, you know. I think looking at the landing gear, there's a little bit of cleanup required on there, as you'd expect, you know, nothing out of the ordinary at all. But that is sprue F. Oh my goodness, the detail just keeps giving, doesn't it? So here we have got more stuff to do with the cockpit. This is all, I think, to do with the cockpit. We've got our radio and electrical equipment there. We've got a seat here, definitely some dials and bits and pieces in there. So yeah, this looks like all of our components for our cockpit. Some magazines there for our machine guns that will be in the back of the cockpit. Our third man defending the rear of the aircraft as it flies around. And again, the detail is just phenomenal. Really is. It's going to be an absolute joy. I could sound like a broken record, I know, but it's just brilliant. Even the pedals here have got immense detail on. If I just hold that up, hopefully you'll be able to see that. If not, there will be a picture, trust me. But yeah, that's just phenomenal. That is that. So this is sprue H, and as I said, these are one of the sprues that are actually in one bag together. All the rest are singly wrapped. And again, you've got here a little bit of sprue or cat hair, one or the other. I don't know what that was. So not blaming Border, because I'm sure the cats don't bag up their kits. I think it's a cat hair from my room. Anyway, this is one of the torpedoes. You've got two of them in the kit, I believe. Yep, you got two there to be made up if you want to, although you can only carry one at a time, so I don't know why you would have two. Maybe it's one's so it's on the aircraft and one isn't. I'm not sure. But anyway, you've got two of those. This is sprue H and sprue G. And sprue G obviously has got a little bit more information going, or stuff going on here, which maybe this is the one that sits on the aircraft and this is the one that doesn't. I'm not sure. But anyway, again, really well done. Some screw heads and stuff on there, and certainly on the main torpedo as well. That's going to come up really, really, really nicely. Looking forward to putting them together. Those are sprue H and sprue G. So this is sprue J. This is to do with our bombs, still weapons. So yeah, again, lots of detail on here. And one of the things I really, really am enjoying from Border is that the wonderful depth of detail they've got on the bombs. Now, I've not seen that on any other make, and maybe it's just the Japanese and the way they made the bombs. I don't know. I really don't. But I'm just astonished at even with something simple like a bomb, where you generally would find quite boring, I got to be honest, you can play with that so much. But that is sprue J. And here we have our clear sprue, sprue I. And as you can see, as I turn that around in this, that is as clear as you possibly could make clear sprue. That is phenomenal. Although there's a slight fault on this one here, but no, there's not. I take that back. There is no fault on any of this. It's just perfect. Honestly, just absolutely to die for. Really is. So I'm going to put that back in a bag before I get any finger marks on it. But that is sprue I. So next up would be our PE, and as you can see, there is only a little bit of PE, which is there. I'm not going to go over it too much, but you're basically looking at belts and buckles and small things like that. You got a sight there for the machine gun. So yeah, that is your PE. So again, we're going to look at the decals. These decals are done by Genkik Maker Corporation. So these are not cartograph by any means, but there is no carrier film around the edges of those items, and that looks lovely to me. You've got lots of options there with your numbers, etc. And that's a really good thing to see within a kit, because you can mix stuff up a little bit. Lots of options, and obviously you've got your dials here, which seem to be slightly different, but I'm not quite sure why they're different. So I'm not even going to try and explain why they're different. I don't know is the honest answer, but that's really cool to see. Not a lot of decals, obviously, but in great order. Unfortunately, when I say that, as I look, you'll see there's a slight indent on our decals here where the plastic has laid onto it. And that's probably my fault, not the manufacturer's, because I have been in this kit and had a look. These were in the instructions, hidden away, to prevent damage. So if you do get your kit, take kit apart, make sure you put these back in your instructions when they go in a box. So there you go. That is our Kate 135th Border models. Really great to see another 135th aircraft. So looking forward to them bringing some other additions to their range in this particular scale. Hopefully they're going to be doing something along the lines with the American aircraft carrier. Now that I don't know if that's factual at all, but that's the rumor, and if that is the case, I think that'd be absolutely amazing, and I can guarantee I'll be signing up to buy something along those lines. As a kit, loads of plastic, loads of things you can do to it. Even though you've got so much detail already, there is just the scope to really enjoy yourself with this one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this particular review, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We've got so much coming up over the next 6 months or so, and I don't want you to miss out on the content coming up. But until next time, thank you and keep modelling.